Now I'm joined by the band's very own Andreas Kisser. Hello, how are you doing
Hey,
today?
how you doing, Alicia? Nice to see you again. All
Great
good.
to see you as well. What have you been up to? How are things going over there? We're so happy
Yeah,
to have you.
great. Yeah, it's great to have this new album. We're talking about a lot lately. It's coming out August 13th. Working also to go back on the road.
Mhm.
That's our main goal. That's why we miss so much. Being on the road, especially with the new album Quadra that came out in February 2020, right before everything stopped. But doing well, doing great. Very confident. Things are going back. It's great to see shows happening. Around the world. So let's wait step by step. We're ready to go.
You can tell just the way you're talking about it, you're absolutely itching to get back out there to release this upcoming record. And of course, it is a live album you'll be sharing with everyone. So, how does it feel knowing that the release is so close and everybody can finally hear all of these tracks in just a couple of days' time?
No, it's great. I mean, with all the Sepultura releases, I think the this is the one I'm most proud of it. Because it was a really a group effort. Not only the musicians, but managers, roadies, the fans, of course, the record label. It was a great effort for everybody to keep going. To talk about the new album, to find a new outlet that we could keep in touch with our fans. And technology opened that new window. So we created this event every Wednesday to keep in touch with our fans, to make this live Q&A, to perform Sepultura's music in this new format. Everybody at their own houses and putting the videos together and audio, and the storyteller that we remind and remember our tours and albums and etc. And that kept the band alive, kept the band working with a focus, objective, because we missed the tour, we missed the backstage, the tour bus, where we talk about the music, the women, politics, sports. We are a band much more than the stage itself. So
Mhm.
Sepulquarta was really our everything, our backstage, our tour bus, our stage where we perform and when we talk to our friends, and it saved the band basically. It kept our minds working, busy with something, but we didn't plan to make an album out of it. At the end of 2020, that we realized we had an amazing material in our hands, and we decided to organize and put it out as an album. And finally, it's coming out August 13th.
Oh, we're so close to release day, just a couple days out. But before we went live today, we were talking about technology and how much it can be a bit of a pain in the ass. But on the other hand, of course, if it weren't for technology, this record would be impossible to have done. So,
Definitely.
did you happen to run into any issues along the way or any moments where you're just like, man, tech, why are you doing this to me?
Well, the live situation, of course, we are most dependable of the things happening there. I mean, we're supposed to do this interview a few days ago, but I had a total breakdown here and blackout and stuff. I
Your
don't know what
Wi Fi
happened.
completely went dark.
Yeah, it was totally off, and I'm glad that everything's working now and we're talking. But uh, it was very easy because we had time in advance to organize everything. Every guest that was a part was very professional in that respect, sending the audio and videos in time so we could mix and edit the videos, and everybody was at their homes, so everybody was pleased they have something to do. I guess, and especially the fans that were watching the videos and being a part and making donations, because we made a lot of collaborations with different organizations and stuff. So it was a great experience, and the album came out of it, by itself basically, which was great. It's very spontaneous album. When you think about an album, you have a tendency to overthink things. Often we listen to the demo that we work on the studio, that we're just playing and creating, and then we go to the studio and say, oh man, the demo was better. This is very typical, when we have this kind of stuff, because the demo was more spontaneous. The performance is more
Yeah.
truthful and stuff, and when you go to the studio, you have this tendency to, oh, it has to be perfect, whatever that means. So on Sepulquarta, no, was we were at our houses, in a new situation, learning a new tool, how to use this new tool for us, and was great. We learned a lot. I think we came out of it as a stronger band, more united, because we kept Sepultura without the stage, which I thought was impossible.
And you mentioned being united there, and this record really does show a lot of camaraderie because it features so many of your good friends like Scott Ian, of course, Devin Townsend, Matt Heafy. You could have, of course, released a live album simply as Sepultura. So, what made the band want to have all those collaborations on each song and just feature all of these amazing musicians?
Yeah, it started because of the rhythm of the Sepulquarta, because the first Sepulquartas was just ourselves, the band, responding questions and answering whatever. And then the performance was almost like a playthrough over the new material from Quadra. And then slowly, we were really making the jams, performing ourselves. So Eloy, our drummer, will record the track and then send it to me. I put my guitar and receive all the audios and stuff. I put it together here, and that was it. And then we didn't know how long this pandemic will take. We didn't know how long we will keep doing this Sepulquarta. We were wishing we'll do a few and then go back to the road as soon as possible. But we were there for the whole year working, and then we decided to call our friends to participate on the Q&A, talking about different subjects, not only music and Sepultura, but we talk about anxiety, depression, the environment, sports, and many other subjects. It was great. And the performance of Sepultura song as well, because we love to jam. For people who know Sepultura, they know that it's an open stage basically. And we love to jam. We love to do things by the moment there without too much thinking. And Sepulquarta was that. We started asking our friends to play Sepultura stuff, and they all came with very positive attitude and stuff, and it made these versions be so unique and exclusive. And it's not a live album, and it's not a studio album. It's this. I mean, imagine putting three drums on the stage. It can be done, but it's a lot of work. Sound
Mhm.
check and whatever, a lot of people involved. And doing this in this format was very easy, actually, to organize the three drums or two basses or three guitars, whatever. So it is a new window for us that we could use in the future to do another album like this, because it really make it easier to contact people around the world and make it happen without the physical interaction in the studio and stuff, which is great. That's what I prefer. But it is an option that we have now.
In a sense, it weirdly makes it a little bit easier because you can just ring somebody up and you don't have to fly to the same place. You can be literally in different parts of
Exactly.
the world and you can just jam out together, which is kind of strange to think about. But hey, it clearly worked on the record.
It definitely did, and we didn't do any overdubs to the album. Everything that is on the
Oh,
album
wow.
is what we did on the Sepulquarta. All the audios and everything we did and the guests did. So we just remixed in a more professional way and stuff and mastered and everything. But it is what it is. There's no extra stuff, which is great.
Now, just speaking to the bare bones of it, your guitar playing on these songs is ridiculous. And I know a family member, being your grandma, was a huge inspiration, as we've talked about before. But who were
Yeah.
some of the first guitarists that intrigued you to play or kind of had songs that you really wanted to learn, whether ones that she passed along to you or ones you kind of discovered on your own as you grew up?
Yeah, I mean, my grandma, she only knew, I don't know, three, four, five songs or whatever. Her repertoire was very limited in the sense that she knew like folk songs from Slovenia and from Austria and Germany, that region there where she was from, and she had like eight, nine sisters, and they all sing great, like a choir, very
That's
naturally,
amazing.
but all their folk local songs and stuff. So she knew, I don't know, three or four different chords on the guitar, and that's what I heard from her. But she was my first hearer of my first chords. The first time I learned something on the guitar, she was the first one to have to listen to that. And I mean, it was all like, all wrong and stuff. But she was always very supportive,
Supportive.
very positive, and that motivation, of course, when you start something new, that it's very difficult, to get a grasp, especially when you do the bar. People who plays guitar knows how difficult it is to do that for the first time. Especially an acoustic guitar. She was always there really at the first impression, very positive and stuff. So that was very important for me. The first push, don't give up. It's difficult, but that's the way it is. That's how you learn.
Now, you had mentioned earlier on how you really can't wait to see the fans, to meet everybody, especially with these upcoming really big tours you have on the horizon. So, I wanted to kind of go back to previous shows you've had and ask what's one of the more memorable or bizarre fan encounters that you've had over the years, because I can imagine you've met thousands of fans.
Yeah, fortunately, we have an amazing following everywhere and around the world. And it was great the first time we went to Europe in 1989 when we first toured for Beneath the Remains. And we have this duo, German fans, that are great friends now, Jörg and Mike. And first time we met them, they were following our bus, as they did during those days, touring in different cities and stuff. They still do. A lot of fans follow the band and stuff. But they came like listening to the national Brazilian anthem
Oh
at
my
the
God,
at the last volume in their car, like they was listening to Slayer or something, like
that's
very like
amazing.
yeah, and with the Brazilian flag and stuff, like
Oh,
trying to be, I don't know, making us feel home or something. It's very funny, and since then we are great friends. I think the first impression, and they are crazy. More than we met and we knew them, more crazier they were. So. It was great to meet somebody or two kids in Germany, that were so impacted by Sepultura's music. And one of them came to Brazil. He learned how to speak Portuguese. He visited
wow.
different places here just because of Sepultura. It was amazing how much I don't know, influence or whatever, to
That's
know a
huge.
different culture and stuff just because of music, or not just because, but because of music.
That must be a little mind blowing to think that some people are going through all of that effort, loving that so much, simply because of your music. Like, that's such an incredible
It's
story.
great. It's great. Yes. Yeah. Of
Oh,
course. When I went to Birmingham, for instance, Black Sabbath was born in Birmingham. It was a very emotional for me too. When you go to places like Liverpool or something, it's great that you see where it started, or even the house where Mozart lives in Vienna. It's so cool, to visit the past like that, and I make the best that I can when touring, to go and visit those places and feel a little bit, how was the, I don't know, how they live and how they wrote their music, the difficulties of technology they had. And it's great. It's very inspiring for what I do today as well, really to keep finding new ways. And Sepulquarta was one of them, finding new ways of being a band and doing music together, which is, that's technology helped a lot in that respect for sure.
of course. I love how such heavy music can bring up all of these incredibly deep emotional moments for people. It's just one of my favorite things about being a part of the metal community. So, with
True.
that said, Andreas, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing all of these stories with us today. It's been absolutely lovely being able to pick your brain once more, but this time for Not Fest Daily. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A pleasure talking to you all, and hopefully you can see each other on the road, enjoying the concert the way it's supposed to be, and be safe. Take care of yourself, and hopefully see you all soon. Thank you very much.
Of course, everybody, this has been Andreas Kisser from Sepultura. Be sure to pick up Sepulquarta coming out in just a few days' time. The release day will be covering all things Sepultura. Again, this has been Andreas Kisser. Bye.